Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is August 19th, 2024. And what is on my mind now is allowing for completion. And I'm reminded as I complete one experience or allow for it, then I'm also beginning the next or allowing for the next instead of having all my energy tied up in something that is incomplete. I'm allowing for that to reach a conclusion so I can begin something else. And this is the meaning of the I am is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And so when I am allowing completion of thought, completion of an understanding, even though it may be something very small, understanding about myself, it is nonetheless a completion. And I hear a group of people that I appreciate using the word, "Are you complete?" So that means a little bit more to me now. But I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So creation is continuous. And for me to allow for something to be complete, also, I am allowing for a new beginning. And I only have 144,000 different parts of myself to understand. So I'm not going to run out of anything to do anytime soon. So this is an important understanding for me to complete. Fears come from misunderstanding, I believe. Can't think of any other reason, because when you come right down to it, there's really nothing to be afraid of. This is completion is something that, in the beginning, or until we begin to understand death, then we have the fear of being complete or of completing anything, because we're always afraid of we're going to go. Well, get going. And so you erase the fear of having to go. When you make the choice to go, you are free. Always look for the truth, because the truth will set you free, and everything else is BS before science. I am completing one thing and beginning another, and as I explore this sort of freedom, then I'm also free to explore things within myself that I was reluctant to or afraid to before. So, fear is not the friend. Respect is the friend. Which reminds me, I think when I was growing up in church, every time I would hear the word fear the Lord, their picture was, and I didn't know I was getting pictures back then, but I was. Their picture was, oh, I better be good. It's like Santa Claus. He's making his list, checking it twice. I better be nice. So they're just afraid of the Lord, and I don't even need to go back and trace the history of how that word started to understand that they were caught up in their fears rather than being open to developing. I think what the original meaning of that was to have respect for the Lord. And of course the Lord is I am, and that was the big misunderstanding that started all these religions. But people needed something to hang on to during their adolescence. And that filled that need, and still does today. And most people most are caught up in the adolescent stage of development. And it's, once you get on the other side of that, look back at it, it's kind of amusing, but sad at the same time. So as I get over the sadness and the amusing parts of myself, by looking in the mirror and laughing mostly, I said, damn, you again? Every time I look in the mirror, every morning at least. It's just amusing how people, as long as they're embracing fear, they cannot embrace I am, which is Lord God. I go to the YMCA every day, and in the pool area, they're always writing on the blackboard a verse from the Bible. And I'm amused at how many times those verses have changed. Let me give you an example. When I was growing up, my mama went over this phrase a million times with me. And it said very clearly in the Bible that she was reading to me that the phrase that says, where's my memory now? It's in there. I just have to allow for it. I am is the original phrase. I'll go to another phrase and I'll come back to that. Seek first the righteousness of the kingdom of heaven, which is the superconscious part of mine, and that takes developing the relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And in order to get to that, a religion teaches you to go straight to. Well, you can't do that. And that's the trying to do that is what causes all the problems, because they're working off some misinformation. And it was so from the beginning. I mean, or when people started to make, the trouble is when people start to make sense out of something, they'll run everything, all the what ifs and whatnots or whatever, through the mind, and what they come up with, they figure that must be all there is. But they haven't even, they haven't gone through the discipline. The concentration exercises, the meditation, the visualization, all of these things that take a lot of time and a lot of work. They haven't gone through that. They want to understand everything before having put out the effort. And to top it off, their religion is telling them you don't need any effort put out. You got it already. Well, damn. How foolish can you be? Well, observe, and you'll see the foolishness at work. And there's a possibility you'll see a grandstand of foolishness by electing another damn fool that lies to people all the time. Hopefully they don't need that. Hopefully there's enough people becoming aware. That's what I hope for, is enough people become aware. But if the majority need to see that, then the majority will see that. We, as a group, will see what we're allowing to see, which is what started this conversation. You've got to allow for the truth to appear in order to see it. If you deny that the truth is only available in what these people in the church told you, and their version of what they understand from the Bible, come on. you're sidestepping your responsibility. And when you sidestep your ability to respond, guess what? You're not going to see the truth. And the truth is available through your own experience. That's all. You can't get it from these other sources. But each person has to discover that on their own. The Alpha and Omega. I keep coming back to that. It's so as I complete one thing, begin another. It's a continuous circle. Creation continues until completion of all 144,000 aspects. So I just completed one thing today. I won't go into detail about that, but I've had a completion today, and which opens up a whole new area of examination for me. So here I go again, and it just continues. It continues. It continues. For how long? Until I get it. Until I get it all. That's what Jesus did, and he's inviting us to come where he is. But he represents the aggressive motion inward, and Jesus represents the quality of knowing. And you can't know as long as your head is in your rectum and you're only looking for confirmation through other people or groups of people. No. The only place you're going to find it is in here, through your own experience. Now, whatever pain you got to go through to realize that is what you're creating. Jesus said it pretty clear. The truth will set you free. It's simple. We tend to make things more complicated than they need to be. Those words were actually used on a health reading I got one time, I believe. Either that or it was a teacher of mine that said it. I can't remember. But the teachers were always saying, if you go to the School of Metaphysics, if you're not prepared to hear the truth, you're going to have some discomfort. Especially when you get around the doctors. Because they'll watch what's going on, and then they'll spit out the truth. And I've seen people's knees buckle. Okay, they never heard the truth before. And they've been in church all their life. They ain't never heard the truth. Because it comes from experience. It don't come from, oh, this is what the book says. It don't come from that. It reminds me of a radio program. Before before there was television, there was radio. And I've been here long enough to know that. As a kid, there were radio programs that come on, and one that kind of stands out. Of course, there was Amos and Andy and all of the amusing ones, and some ongoing stories. But there was one called "It's in the Book," and somebody would ask a question, and they would talk about a particular scenario that's amusing, and they'll say it's in the book. So that phrase kept repeating itself. It's in the book. It's in the book. So I enjoyed that, and that got my attention. And this was radio before television and electricity in the bathrooms and all that stuff. Yeah, I was here before that. So I know a little bit of difference. I haven't thought of the Bible phrase I was looking for yet, but I probably talked around it. And I'll say it another time, I guess. But I just wanted to talk about where I am in completing the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. This is I am. And if you haven't realized this yet, go back and reread the words of Jesus, and instead of thinking that he is the only living God, think of it as he's talking about I am. and listen to it from that standpoint and see what you get. He was not talking about himself. I'm Winston Cunningham. It's a good day. Thank you.